Hello, Proguides. Welcome back. I'm your host, Jenkins Dota, and I'm back with Newsham Dota. And in today's episode of Tierlist, we are going to be covering offlaners. Hello, Newsham.
Hello.
Okay, let's begin. We have Slartar and Bloodseeker. You disagreed with me. You don't think Slartar is S tier. Why is that?
I think he's good in like the 4 protect 1 meta with amping things. But I don't know. I feel like the meta shifted a bit where it's a lot about group fighting right now. Like if you can't fight the other team, if they pick more group fight than you, then it can get a bit rough. But Slartar is really good. So I don't know. I don't think he's...
Okay.
I don't think he's bad. Put it this way. If he's not S tier, he's definitely A tier. He's definitely really good.
I can get behind that. So I had him in S tier because I think that he makes it so that whatever your carry is, you win the carry matchup. If you have like a Spectre versus TB or a Slark versus Spectre or like whatever it is, you just win the carry matchup because you amplify by so much. But no, I totally agree with you that in the past like week or so, past couple of weeks, it's definitely trended more towards like, you know, some Sand King in the off lane or Mars that's like better at group fighting. But I think Slartar is so strong that you're definitely right. He's at least A tier. Bloodseeker, I think this is the one we both agree on, right?
Yeah, he just looks so silly. I think he's not as easy to execute as something like Sand King or Slartar, but like assuming it's in the right hands, right?
Yeah,
with a bit of research, I think Bloodseeker's definitely S tier. And it's not like he's a hard hero.
Yeah,
to be honest, you just kind of shove waves in with W, and yeah.
Totally agree. Yeah, you shove waves in with W, you play him like a spellcaster, just trying to get as many blood rights down in team fights as you can. You amplify somebody, like once again, it's like Slartar with Blood Rage. You can win any carry matchup in the late game because of the amplification from this. Rupture is an amazing kiting ability for a lot of heroes that don't like to get kited, like Sven and Terrorblade. And I think when the hero first came into the meta with Zai playing it for Secret, people didn't really know exactly what the build was. There was like this kind of phase boots, maybe tranquil boots. The Veil's always been a thing, but people weren't going Greaves. And I think like the Greaves pipe thing is much better than going, and like Halberd and these sorts of items are much better than going for like the aggressive Yules thing, because he is actually really tanky. You have like 30 armor at level 15. It's ridiculous. It
reminds me of when Nature's Prophet was really, really broken in top tier. He just like has really good natural stat gain, and you don't think he's that tanky, and then you click on him, it's like 30 armor.
Yeah. It's pretty nuts. So I think the build has basically evolved with this hero, and he's just ubiquitously like ridiculous.
I really like what people are doing with Solar Crest too, just like trying to buff up your carry as much as possible.
Yep, yeah, definitely good for like the amplification meta. Good group fighter too. Okay, so A tier we have Mars, Batrider, Sand King, Magnus, Legion, Beastmaster, Veno, Slartar. I'm definitely like open to moving some of these. I think in the time that even in just in the past few days, I've seen certain things like trending and stuff, but we'll start with Mars. I think Mars is amazing. I feel like the 45% win rate or whatever in pro level pubs is people sucking with it, and I think it's better than that win rate makes it look. And maybe if we look in like a week from now, it'll be like a 51% win rate or something. Sometimes win rates are just low. Like Nature's had a low one too at the start of the patch, and now it's up again. But
yeah, I think he's one of the stronger laners for sure, especially with a lot of the popular fours right now, Windrunner, Rubik, Tiny. He just synergizes very well with them. I think it's weird that he has such a low win rate. I was even telling you before we did this that I think he might be S tier, but I could see an argument for him being A tier just because of win rate right now. Maybe, you know, it's just one of those things you just don't realize maybe he sucks at something. Yeah,
for sure. But I feel like God's Rebuke is one of the best lane pushing and harassing abilities. I mean, I can't believe they gave this a slow. It's really ridiculous. Spear of Mars with the cooldown reduction and the fact that you actually have mana to spam it now. This hero has such a high skill cap. It's like a Pudge. I've seen Zai do some crazy stuff with this hero. Like you can literally spear into arena ult now. And the group,
if you time it right.
Yeah, the group fight from the arena, like pair it with a Phoenix or something like that. It's just devastating. It's ridiculous.
It's pretty OP that you can't shoot into it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, have you seen the people that are going like Yules and playing a bit more like a catch guy too when they need to?
Yeah,
I think that might be enough to push them over the edge, like when people start to adjust to that, you know?
I agree. Yeah, for sure. So Batrider, we'll kind of quickly go over these because some of these have been in here for a long time. Like Batrider, I think is just still really good for a lot of the reasons that he's always been good. I would definitely be open to moving him down to B tier just because there's been so many nerfs with the hero.
Yeah,
I feel like
Sticky Napalm forever. It's like the opposite of Darkseer. Always receives buffs or nerfs or whatever.
Yeah,
like that.
But I almost kind of feel like I'm never in a game and somebody picks a Batrider in offlane. It's like, oh no, I have a Batrider on my team. It's always
Everyone knows how to play against it and stuff now. It's kind of the same hero, right?
Yeah, but I still think it does stuff better. It does the repositioning thing better than any other hero in the game, and that's still like really broken. The laning can be a bit rough, but once you get through the laning, like the travels thing into Blink it's just such a solid play style. Do you think A tier or B tier?
I think somewhere in between. It depends on if you're a good bat. I think a good bat, it's definitely A.
Sure. Okay. Sand King, honestly, like the best generic stunning hero in the game.
I think I love Sand King when I talk to people who are like lower rated and they want advice. He's just such like a solid foundation for like an offlaner, what like they should be. Just a guy who's like decent-ish in lane, always can stun and go in first. You have like this nice mechanic of like going in first, baiting spells, and then like once they forget you're there, you can go in with Epi and get like a huge epicenter.
Yeah. The way I see this hero is he's like a better Centaur. Like I feel like Burrow is just like one of the best stuns in the game. Sandstorm actually lets you push out lanes, and then Epicenter and Caustic are, they're okay. Like Epi's good for fighting. It's decent. It's not like the best ability in the game. Caustic's okay, but really like Burrow and Sandstorm to me make this hero insanely good. Like Sandstorm, you can just hold the lane, nobody can kill you. Like you said, you can bait stuff in fights. Burrow is like the best stun in the game. Centaur is very similar, but he's got this like double edge. It's a random nuke. Retaliate, not that good. Stampede, long cooldown. Okay spell when it's up, but it's like meh. I think
I get what you're saying. Sandstorm's just like a really good like dead lane holding sort of ability.
Yeah, for sure.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Magnus, my opinion on this hero is that it's now a lot more about the Shockwave and Skewer than it is the Empower and RP. Like these are still great abilities, Empower and RP. Like you have some guy on your team that can just farm incredibly fast, and it wasn't nerfed for the Empower bonus to other people, as well as like RP. It's still a great team fighting ability, but the fact that Skewer is so huge that you can skewer people that are literally behind you, and the fact that Shockwave can actually set up for that skewer, and the fact that it's a 1.2 second slow, 75%, I would not believe you if you told me that this would be associated with this spell, and the repositioning element too. I would not believe you.
I was about to say, I think it took a while for people to get used to like the whole Shockwave actually moving people and taking advantage of it. Yeah. That's like why you're seeing a rise in Magnus. People are finally getting, it's kind of like the Bloodseeker thing with like the way they changed the hero. On top of the patch, I think it just kind of favors this beef up your one guy thing that everyone's doing for Protect One.
Great amplifier. It's like Slartar. You
of course.
You like ideally if there's a Slartar on the enemy team, you want like a Mag or a Bloodseeker on the other team so that you actually win the carry matchup. Like you need some sort of steroid guy as well to win the matchup. Legion. My thoughts on Legion are just that she counters a lot of really popular heroes right now. Like she can full to zero a lot of people with Blade Mail Duel. She clears through illusions, and she takes off Arrow and Fiend's Grip and other spells that are good. Like her spells all individually do good things against the popular heroes.
Yeah, what do you know? Another carry steroid hero. It's looking good.
Yeah.
Kill your yearly carry when he gets stunned.
Yep, great in lane.
Anti-carry.
Yeah, great in lane against a lot of carries. Beastmaster, I think this hero probably fell off a little too hard. I think people overrated the nerfs to him, and still the Boar mana cost, you can barely feel it because you just don't have any other spells to press. So
right.
Hawks, they give a ton of vision now. Primal Roar is still one of the best team fight abilities in the game, and also Faceless Void is like the most popular carry, and Beastmaster is an extremely hard counter to Faceless Void.
You want to hear my opinion of why I think Beastmaster came back?
No, that's okay.
Okay, well, I was going to say, he fell off because the zoo meta fell out, but then people didn't realize that, like, the laning matters more now, I think. It kind of didn't matter for a while there. People would lose lanes, win lanes, it didn't really matter, and then you just kind of group up and then run at towers and stuff, which Beastmaster is also good at, but people, like, associated that too much with Beastmaster, so when the meta shifted, they were like, oh, this hero just sucks now. But I don't know. In my opinion, I think he just fits really well right now. He has a really solid laning stage, and then you just kind of run around the map and take a lot of map control away, and it makes people trying to play like too greedy, it makes it really hard for them.
Yeah, he's like a 56% win rate right now, so
yeah.
He's looking pretty good. He's like a mid-tier pick too, so he's like getting picked like, you know.
And then what do you know? He has another carry steroid with his aura.
Yep, multiple auras, like builds into a lot of auras. Venomancer, right. I think this hero basically was just the most broken offlaner in the game, and then it got nerfed, and now it's just A tier. Like, it does a crap load of damage.
Yeah.
It's the best hero for taking over an area of the map, and just, you can do it like alone with Plague Wards, depending on what you're up against. But against most heroes right now. What I really like about
Veno is just throwing some wards down, you can walk away and then go do other stuff too.
Yep.
Not many heroes can really do that.
That's true. Yeah, you can like leave wards to farm camps, to push out lanes. It's like a Darkseer Iron Shell to some degree. Even like one ward will push a lane. It's
the only problem with Veno, and in my opinion, why he also fell out a little bit of the meta, is like winning your lane's good and all, which Veno's very good at, but late game he falls off very hard compared to other heroes. They can be a bit more useful, like, you know, Sandkick can stun and stuff.
True. He's just damage in the late game. That's it.
Right,
he's like a timer where if you don't...
If you got like a mid game push though, he's feeling real good.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I really like the like Greaves, Halberd, just pure like utility aura guy on Veno. And then like eventually Ags, because like it does put that timer, but as like a 4th, 5th item, that sort of thing. And then Slartar, we kind of talked about this hero already. He's really strong against a lot of popular carries, but also weak against others. Like, he'll destroy a Spectre or a Jug or a Naix in lane, but he'll get destroyed by like a Terrorblade or a PL. But with
Troll Warlord and stuff like
Troll,
that.
Oh yeah, that's a tough one. But with that being said, you know, he's a stunner. He can run in and tank stuff. He starts fights, and he's got arguably the best steroid in the entire game. So, Corrosive Haze
in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, Corrosive Haze is like all of what makes this hero strong. Basically, the other stuff barely even matters. You could throw other abilities on this hero and it would still be good, I think. Okay, so B tier through D tier, we'll go through these. I have a ton of them on here because I'm an offlaner, so I take great care in this, in putting everything on this list. But B tier, I have Phoenix, Doom, Centaur, Underlord, Nightstalker, Natures, Timber, and then Axe. Once again, I'm pretty open to like moving some of these because I did do this, you know, like a week ago, and it's been even in a few days, like the meta shifts. Like, for example, with this Axe hero, we were talking about this before, but people are doing this like Blink, Veil, Yules. I even saw Brax go Manta style on Axe. So I think,
really?
Yeah, I think people are figuring out what the correct build is on this hero, and he's been buffed a decent amount. And Blade Mail is still such a great item, just in general, with the 20% return at all points. Like, I feel like Blade Mail is just a good item. So it does make sense that this hero is coming back.
I think he's a bit better in pubs. I think all the anti-carry heroes are just very good in pubs right now, because everyone's so reliant on this carry, you know, and if you just make him look bad, makes the team crumble.
Yeah, for sure.
LC, Axe,
Yep. Berserker's Call, BKB Piercing, 3.2 second stun on a 10-second cooldown. What more needs to be said? This hero is never going to be truly terrible. We'll go from left now because I just want to talk about Axe for a bit. But Phoenix, I think Phoenix is just a broken hero. That's
he's got the Nature's Prophet, Queen of Pain type style going on. Just good spells, just good at the game.
You could probably play
literally
Phoenix.
Any role.
You could play
I've
Phoenix
seen it mid even in C.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Like, any role, this hero is good. Does a ton of damage with Sunray, scaling because it's percentage. Fire Spirits does a ton of damage. Attack speed reduction. Icarus. Really, the egg is just like impossible to kill now too at all levels. It feels like it's really hard to kill the egg, and there's a lot of great combos with it right now too.
Right, Treant Protector and stuff.
Yeah, but Sunray and Supernova, that's what sells this hero to me. Are these two abilities?
I think Sunray for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Doom good with Faceless Void.
I honestly kind of want to move Doom down. I feel like he's falling off a lot.
I agree with that, actually.
I think he's falling off quite a bit, and if he is picked, he's more of a mid laner because he needs a lot of levels now to make
I think people just play together a lot tighter now, so when people get doomed, it doesn't feel as devastating as it was.
There's also like Oracles and Wisps and like these other heroes getting picked that counter Doom that were totally out of the meta when Doom was like the S tier pick.
Everyone's building group fighting items too to sustain, like Greaves and Pipe and stuff. It just makes them feel pretty worthless.
Greaves makes Doom like impossible to play. Nobody was building that before. Okay, Centaur. I think he's just a crappier Sand King, generic stunning nuking guy that's like decent at laning. You're never going to be like, oh, why do I have a Centaur on my team? But also, he's not really going to carry you in the game, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If you really need to disengage with Stampede, it's great for that. Like if they have a Brewmaster or something, or Death Prophet, where you can just press R and run away, that's a pretty nice Centaur pick. That's like his
I was gonna
niche.
say, I think that's like the prime example of a good Centaur pick. Outside of that, though, if you just need like a generic guy to stun people for you, he's not that great.
You probably want Sand King on your team
or Mars
at that point, or Mars. Yeah. Underlord, I'd be down to move this one up, maybe. I feel like it's pretty boring and low impact, but that's probably because I suck at it. The win rates...
I personally feel that way too, so I don't really mind. I just know he's not terrible, but I feel like his game impact, it just feels pretty low. If you
stand in front of towers and be tanky. You're like, this here's like the definition of a tank.
Yeah. He
just disrupts and he tanks. That's it. But like, he's never gonna kill anybody. He just makes things annoying for the enemy team. That's about it. That's about it. But he does a really great job at that. Like, he's one of the best stand in front of towers guys in the game. Pit of Malice is like a pretty devastating. He's great at group fighting. So, you know, but very boring. Don't play that hero. Night Stalker. Arguably the best backline jumping offlaner in the game with Crippling Fear and like a Blink Dagger and Dark Ascension. You can just solo kill like Oracles and Rubiks and...
Crippling Fear is just a very unique mechanic right now, I feel. The way it functions. I don't know. It's so hard to counter or do anything to. That's how I feel as a 4, at least, because I play a lot of like these spellcasters like Rubik and stuff. So personally, I hate this hero, and I think he's amazing, but I don't know. I'm going to trust your decision, I guess, since you're the offlaner.
The reason I don't have this hero in like A or S tier, I think when he looks good, he looks really good, but I feel like his laning is insanely punishable. Like, for instance, Naga has a really high win rate right now, and like a lot of these illusion heroes just don't give a damn about Night Stalker at all in the first 5 minutes. Like, you can literally solo a Naga versus a Night Stalker, and the Naga will win.
Yeah, I guess it's immediately when you said that, you were like, oh, just not every game. It's like, yeah, I guess if you compare it to like the other people on this tier list.
Yeah,
he's not like an every game kind of guy.
Yeah, but it's like, if you're a good Night Stalker, though, you'll make it work too. Like, he's good enough that you can make it work. Nature's Prophet, I feel like you already mentioned it with the Phoenix. This hero is just good in general.
Yep.
Because
he got nerfed. He used to be S tier. He's still good, just not broken.
Yeah. Wrath of Nature does a ton of damage. Gives you good right-click damage. Great mech builder. Great hero at just snowballing, taking towers with Nature's Call, teleporting across the map. How can you go wrong? I will say
one thing. If you play slow, though, on Nature's Prophet, in my opinion, he is definitely lower tier. I think you have to be the guy who's porting onto towers really early.
I agree.
With treants and stuff. But if you're the guy who's like farming and looking to port into things, not being proactive, I don't think he's that good.
100%. I think you have to snowball. The way that I see Nature's Prophet is like the way that you beat other heroes in terms of like you can actually survive in a fight or out carry them if you're playing carry natures is having more items than them. And the way that you have more items than them is you have to, number one, Wrath of Nature will help you out farm people, but that's not really it. You have to like take towers. You have to like take map advantage to out farm people. Because the problem is this hero functions with an item advantage. You cannot carry without an item advantage because you just run away from people in fights. You don't have any other way of getting away from people. You have to survive for 3 seconds while you're casting TP. And if they have stuns, you have to survive for even longer. So you literally need to have items that enable you to do that, or have items where you can kill them. And you can't do that without an advantage, and the way that you get an advantage is by taking towers. So I think you have to play this hero from ahead, but with that being said, it's easy to play him from ahead, because it's easy to play him fast, because he literally has a global TP, and he summons treants that take 10 hits to die from the tower. So it's not the hardest thing in the world. Timbersaw, I think there are certain carries you can pick this into, and pubs, where basically just abusing the fact that carries and offlaners pick at the same time, you can just win the game.
I agree. I don't think there's actually that much to even be said about him. He's Timber. He hasn't changed. Yeah. He's good when he's good, bad when he's bad.
Yeah, he's
not going to stun people, but you can completely snowball and take over a game by yourself.
Yeah, right. Like, if they pick a TB, if they pick like a TB and a Nature's Prophet in the second phase, and you pick a Timber, the game is over. No mid that they pick will deal with that. They're not going to OD, Pugna, it doesn't matter. Like, you're going to have so much free space in the side lane that you're going to have the items to deal with whatever mid laner they pick. Timber's just a Trump pick. That's all he is. He's like the only off-laning Trump pick, really. For the most part. Okay, C tier. We'll kind of quickly go through these because most of these are pretty bad. Void Spirit, Clockwork, Tidehunter, Darkseer, Brewmaster, Pango. What the hell? What did I leave off at? Chaos Knight, Earth Spirit, Elder Titan, Doom. Let me know if you disagree with these when I call it out. Void Spirit, I think he's just a good hero and that you can like flex him to offlane, but he's not going to win the game for you as an offlaner. Clockwork, I think he's a better 4. He's just a strong hero. Some people play him off lane, but it's not that good. Probably better as a 4. Tide, his Ravage is way too long of a cooldown. Darkseer, the nerfs hurt him a lot, made him pretty bad. Well, not bad, but
he gets countered by a lot of popular stuff like Anti-Mage too.
Yeah, he's in Oracle. Brewmaster, Long cooldown ultimate. When you have the ultimate, it's great, but it takes a really long time for this thing to come on cooldown, and he doesn't apply any pressure, really, to the carry. Pangolier, I feel like people play the Pangolier around the ultimate, and you can do that as like a support.
Yeah,
and
I think he has a lot more success as a 4 or 2 right now. I think that's about it.
The way that people play him, I feel like the way that people think that he's strong right now, just be a 4 at that point. Chaos Knight, I only have him in here because I have no idea what to think of this hero, period. I see people experimenting.
I've been seeing him as a 4 actually in NA. I don't know.
Emochu playing as a 4.
I'm not going to pretend to know, but it looks okay. I don't know.
It looks pretty good. I saw Monkeys playing Chaos Knight as an offlaner, and he rushed the Ags and was just using like the global purge and illusion, and he lost. But apparently, capitalist, I should say, asked him afterwards, and he said to Cap that he still thinks it's really good, even though he lost when he was trying it out. He's like, oh yeah, it still felt pretty good. But I think people need to figure out the build for it, and it's probably pretty decent. Earth Spirit, I think Earth Spirit's just a great hero, and I think people are experimenting more with Earth Spirit as a core, and it looks good. It looks good on mid, and I think it looks pretty good on offlane, but I think you have to be a good Earth Spirit
I think the main argument is he just counters a lot of popular stuff, like the other Spirit heroes and stuff. His silence is amazing, especially with the talent, 6.5 seconds or something.
Yeah, everybody's going like 2, 4, and then points in silence now. Like people are going early points in silence. Elder Titan, I think he's just a really good hero. And
I think in like competitive play, he is definitely up a bit, but I think in pubs and stuff, I don't think he's that good.
I think you can cheese. I think you can cheese it in pubs. Like if you're like a really good ET, you can punch people in the face, and they're not going to expect they're not going to know what the hell you're doing, and you can win games off of that factor alone. But I would say if you're not a competent ET player, avoid this hero like it's the plague, basically.
Yeah.
Doom, we already talked about this hero. He's just been nerfed too many times. All of his abilities need to be maxed out now, and that's a problem because, you don't necessarily get the levels as an offlaner, and he's super easy to counter in the lane. So I think
he is an excellent Smurf counter, though, that's for sure.
He is, yes. You just doom the one guy that's owning you. All right, D tier. Pugna, Abaddon, which is how you pronounce it. Everybody corrects me on that. Leshrac, Death Prophet, Enigma, Viper, Visage, Omni Knight, Necrophos, Puck, Treant Protector. A lot of these are just bad. Pugna needs too many levels, basically a mid. Abaddon. Is that what I said the first time? Abaddon. No, Abaddon. That's how you pronounce it. That's what people correct me to. I think this hero just sucks. I think all of his spells have long cooldowns. There are better purge heroes in the game. Yada yada. Leshrac, probably better as a mid. Needs levels, needs farm, or else he feeds. And great with farm and levels. I think he's just a good hero right now. Death Prophet, I also think she's just good. The Crypt Swarm buffs, definitely great for her, but hasn't looked good as an offlaner when I see Monkeys Forever play it, and if it doesn't look good in his hands.
If you just compare it to the other heroes, I don't know. I wouldn't pick it.
Right, doesn't offer what the other offlaners offer. Long cooldown, once again, like Brewmaster. Enigma, oh man, how do I feel?
He's fun.
He's definitely fun. He's fun.
Cool to get epic montage black holes, but I do not think he's very good.
He's very counterable. Everybody's going Abyssal Blades now against Enigma. Just 2 Abyssals, and like you can't Lincoln's BKB. Nothing counters that,
Yeah.
And that's a problem. And I think if you're going for like the aura build on Enigma, there's probably better heroes to do that. Like all of these, Beastmaster is just a better version of that. Viper, probably just a better mid. His win rate's one of the lowest in Dota currently. Really slow. I think he's really slow.
Viper has one niche, and it is against Spectre. That is it. Move on.
Yes. Visage, 40% win rate hero. I thought for a second there that maybe it's a half-decent offlaner. And it probably is because Soul Assumption does 250 damage at level 1, which is stupid. But that's about it. Crimson Guard counters your entire hero, and oftentimes
spells don't really scale either. So it's like, what are you? Yeah. And
you're not like a stunning guy either. So oftentimes you can really regret having this like Visage hero as an offlaner instead of a Sand King. Omni Knight, great against physical damage strats, Faceless Void, Mag, that sort of thing. But I've seen in competitive this tested against Void plus Phoenix, not good. Like it's literally only good against Wombo combo that is physical. And that's it. I don't see him as having any other niche.
Yeah, W sucks.
Necrophos, countered by a lot of popular heroes right now. Like Anti-Mage, for example, is a top tier carry. Leshrac is a good mid. There's just tons of heroes that make Necrophos look like an awful hero.
Yeah.
And I think the hero's good. I think like buff-wise, his stats and spells are as good as they've ever been. but the meta just sucks for him. Like, you're never going to have a game where Necro's totally unkillable. There's always heroes that can kill Necro in the game, which sucks for him. Puck, I think only good for Coil. If you really need a hard disable.
I think I don't know. I've seen some Pucks pop off. I mean, the obvious one is like Liquid Boxy, but...
Sure.
I don't know. It is pretty niche. I don't think
But they played it as like a 4, right?
Right. I don't know, still. I think it's good, though. It counters a lot of heroes right now.
Sure. Where I'm kind of at with Puck is that I feel like it's probably better off in other roles rather than offlane. If you're playing just for the coil, I think you should put it as like a 5 or 4. I've seen Puppy play Puck. And then if you want to play it for like the crazy silencing, damaging, like snowballing, you probably go mid because it's not that strong in lane. Unless you're Team Liquid, and then you do some Sand King Puck strat, and then it's very interesting in lane. But they do some farm splitting stuff, and I don't know. Very weird. It's nuts. Treant Protector, just a better 5 and 4. Bristleback, Pudge. I mean, what needs to be said about these heroes? Bristleback breaks counter him. He can't cut creeps. That was his only thing. That was the only reason he was good, and he can't do that anymore. And Pudge is just an abysmal hero. This is like might actually be the worst hero in Dota still, even after the quote-unquote buffs that he was given. Thanks for reducing his strength gain. That was great, because everybody knows Pudge has like 20 kills in a game. Just kidding. 20 deaths, more like. For Gaben's sake.
Yeah, I think that hero's terrible.
It's garbage. I literally just went like 20-1 on a Pudge in a Pudge game, and I lost.
I watched.
We had a gold lead the entire game. Literally the entire game. Even when we lost, we had a gold lead. And still, we lost the game. At the start of the game, we got 3 bounties. So we started with more gold than they had, and we ended with more gold than they had. And because I was so useless, even with 20 kills, we lost. That's how terrible this hero is. Any other hero, if you get 10, 20 kills on, they're going to pop off and win the game. Not this one. Please buff Pudge.
Yeah, the only argument for him being okay is like you can hook people out, but at that point, Snapfire can cookie people out. And
Vengeful Spirit can swap 2 people out. Yes, very nice.
Pudge is terrible.
Anyway, we'll end it on that note. Please, Ice Frog, buff this boy, and the game will be alive again. Thank you for watching, everybody, and we hope to see you in the next tier list.